Moskowitz, and I'm founder and CEO of PartnerOptimizer and probably one of the biggest partner data geeks you'll ever meet. So this show is a forum for conversations about the adoption and impact of partner data, partner insights, and partner intelligence in the B2B tech sector. Each episode is going to feature someone who's ahead of the curve and doing that very successfully. Now, this is a really big day for me. Besides that it's episode 1, it's that earlier this year, we launched the first ever AI-driven partner intelligence platform, PartnerOptimizer. And here we are with a partnership leader from arguably the largest cloud infrastructure company, Amazon Web Services, and with the partnership leader who's going to share how partner insights and data from PartnerOptimizer are changing their partner-led growth trajectory. So it's my pleasure to welcome on this very first episode of Ecosystem Chronicles, a person who I truly admire and respect, the head of SAP on AWS Partners and Alliances for the Americas at Amazon Web Services. Welcome, Christina.
Hi, thanks for having me today, Dina.
Absolutely. It is so great to be here with you. And I just want to tell our audience just a little bit more about you and make you blush before we get started, because they need to know, why this is such an important episode and how they can learn from you. And so Christina Martin Graisman, she is a 20-year technology veteran, and her roles have spanned from startups to large corporations. And most recently, before AWS, she was the VP of North American Channel Ecosystem Expansion at SAP. So she went to AWS in 2018, and she started out first in the public sector, right, Christina?
Yep.
And she was responsible for recruiting and activating a community of partners that are building AWS partnership practices for public sector, US, state, local governments, and K-12 schools. So then she got promoted and she was pulled in to head up the SAP on AWS Partners and Alliances of the Americas. And she's helping partners implement and migrate and modernize SAP software on AWS. And then in 2022, if that wasn't a big enough responsibility, she took on the added leadership of worldwide SAP on AWS partner enablement and ISV strategy. Now, in addition to that, she's an advocate for women pursuing careers in tech in the channel. And she's chairwoman of CompTIA's Advancing Women in Technology community, which is something very dear to my heart as well. And she's also a mother of 2 adorable children. And besides that, Christina, you're a partner data geek too, and I love you for that. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to hand it over to you now because I want you to talk a little more about your role at AWS and how you've been leveraging partner data to become more strategic, go up the ladder in your career, and to drive more revenue with your partners.
Yep, fantastic. Happy to do so, Dina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I will say that, if Dina is the biggest partner data geek, I'm probably the second biggest partner data geek.
I would say that.
And it's interesting because AWS in general is a very data-driven company. We use data a lot. And so I think my natural inclination to want data fits very well with AWS's culture. And Partner Optimizer has been a great offering that we've been able to marry those 2 things together to help grow our partner community. So I think one of the things to point out about AWS and our partner program is we have over 150,000 partners in over 150 countries. So it's a very large partner network. And globally, the SAP on AWS partner community is several hundred partners and growing. So it's a real pleasure to be able to help grow this partner community in North America and Latin America. And I've been able to marry my SAP background and my cloud background in one job. So what I'm going to talk about today, we found a low-tech analogy to talk about a high-tech problem. So hopefully the imagery that I came up with works for you. But I was trying to describe basically what happened to us. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our story and the results that we got and how Partner Optimizer played a key role in that. So when I first took this role a little over 2 years ago, the primary go-to-market motion we had was working with partners to help customers migrate their on-premises SAP software to AWS. That was the primary go-to-market motion. Now, SAP started their relationship with cloud providers because they wanted customers to upgrade to the latest version of their ERP software, which is called S/4HANA. And so at the time, the mental model was, well, if we get these customers in the cloud, they can, save some money, free up some resources, and then begin their modernization journey. Well, what SAP found was that that strategy wasn't working as fast as they had wanted to. Customers were adopting the cloud, but they weren't necessarily adopting the new software. So SAP came out with a new offering called Rise with SAP, and that launched in January of 2021. So we had already had a full partnership with SAP and a full go-to-market motion where we were working with migration partners. So these were not necessarily strong SAP partners, these were strong migration partners. And so these were the partners that I was helping do go-to-market strategy and execution with. So that's what you see in this very first fishbowl. So we had strong implementation and migration partners, strong AWS partners. SAP releases a new product. Now, they did not ask us, right? This is their product, their company. They announced this new product, and what was disruptive for the channel and for AWS about this new product was SAP became the technical managed services provider, and the contract for Rise is with SAP. So this really changed the whole go-to-market motion. And so, when I was preparing for this talk with Dina, I was like, I felt like I was a fish. I had to jump from one fishbowl to the next pretty quickly. And so that was where we came up with this analogy. So suddenly, it wasn't about having in my partner community strong AWS partners. I needed partners that could sell SAP software because that's how SAP was going to be taking Rise to market. Their partners were going to be able to resell it to customers. And then these partners that are selling SAP software, they've got a different skill set. They have functional and business outcome skills, not necessarily migration skills. So really a lot needed to change. And at this point, so that's our second fishbowl in this analogy, right? I knew I needed to start hunting for different fish out there in the ocean in order for me to continue to grow my business. So this is when I was looking for options. I knew we needed to grow our partner community quickly. I needed to know who those right partners were. Now, I had a couple of different options. One, we had spreadsheets of prospective partners. Who doesn't? I guarantee everybody on this presentation today has got a spreadsheet somewhere of partners that they want to recruit, and it's got 50 million columns on it, and it's static, and it's out of date, and there's 50 million versions of it, and it's not scalable, and it doesn't really work very well. So the second option was an analyst firm that we work with was going to basically create spreadsheets for us. We were going to spend a lot of money for them to throw a body at it, to go to all these different websites and basically create another static spreadsheet. I mean, that wasn't going to do me any good because, again, it was going to be out of date very shortly. And again, I still risked, spreadsheet corruption, it getting out of other people using it, editing it, having version control. That really wasn't going to help it. It was extremely expensive. So I had been working with Dina on a pilot for my original partner community, just to learn the original partner community better. And I finally went back to her and I was like, okay, here's my problem. I need to move fast. I need your help. And so we entered a second engagement where we created a brand new partner profile of all of the different characteristics that we needed. So they needed to have SAP functional expertise. And so we used certain keywords in our partner profile to uncover that. They needed to be at a certain profile within SAP's partner program. That became part of our partner profile. And then, we had other qualities that we needed as well. We also then brought in, were they already registered with AWS? Because that was going to help us from a recruitment and activation standpoint. If they were at least a registered partner, they had some kind of contact with AWS. So we pulled all of that data together, and in a matter of, I think, a couple of weeks, we had a couple hundred targets for us to choose from. We narrowed it down to about 80 that were going to become our top recruit partners. And I took a risk and I said to my boss, I'm going to take one of my go-to-market specialists, one of my partner development specialists, and I'm going to dedicate this person 100% to recruiting and activating these 80 partners. He gave me less than 6 months. He said, if we don't see results by May 1st, so we're talking about February. If we don't see results by May 1st, this person's got to go back to their original job. So I had 4 or 5 months in order to show results. So again, because we had the target partner profile and we knew who to target, we already could start contacting partners. But it didn't stop there. One of the other things that was really valuable was the fact that we could go back into PartnerOptimizer and we could get a detailed partner profile of these partners before we approached them. And this became really critical because we knew, for example, who was a strong partner of one of our competitive cloud providers. So pretty much any partner out there, they're either going to have a partnership with AWS, Google Cloud Platform, or Azure from Microsoft. So by getting the detailed partner profile information, we knew who was a strong GCP partner, who was a strong Azure partner, and we could quickly tailor our value proposition for that partner based on who they were already partnered with. Very quickly, we actually found that we had a pretty strong value proposition for partners that were GCP partners. And we really leaned into that, and we've been pretty successful at recruiting those partners into our network. By the time we hit May, I had a one-on-one with my manager, and I showed him that we had seen, now these were partners, some of whom maybe were registered already, but weren't really doing much with us, or were brand new into our partner community because they were strong partners with another cloud provider. So when we looked at year-over-year growth within these domain names, right, we have a report specifically for these partners, right? Triple-digit year-over-year growth on partner-originated deals registered into our deal registration system, and triple year-over-year growth in annual recurring revenue on those opportunities. Far exceeded our expectations. And then our average deal size for these partners went up by double digits. So again, it was really outstanding results. My boss, who's the global director for the SAP Alliance and Channel, said that this program exceeded his expectations. Needless to say, I now have a full-time recruiter activator in North America, and we continue to lean into this motion, and we want to start diving deep into some other geos as well. And so where we see these other fish bowls kind of spinning off of this main one, where we're taking this next is we've got a pilot going where we're looking at partners that are strong with both SAP and Oracle, because we also have an Oracle on AWS migration practice. And how do we help partners that do SAP and Oracle build out their Oracle migration practice? We're also looking at a couple of other SAP products where we want to expand our go-to-market with SAP and their partners. So for example, SAP has a product called Business One. It's an SMB ERP product, and a lot of those customers are still on premises. And so we're going to be looking at those Business One partners and helping them bring Business One onto AWS for their customers. And then SAP also has a middleware platform called Business Technology Platform. And partners are building strengths in that software as well. And so we're going to be updating our ideal partner profile to include where we're seeing BTP strengths. So we want to work with partners that are building out with BTP, because most of the BTP services run on AWS. And so that becomes a virtuous cycle for AWS, for the partners, and for the customers benefiting from those offerings as well. So I think overall, just to summarize, one, I didn't have to guess. I think that's really critical. I think, and we just gone with our spreadsheet route, we would have wasted a lot of time combing through websites and really guessing, maybe they've got a strong Azure relationship, maybe they've got a strong AWS relationship. But instead, I could use data to know for my primary recruit partners who they were partnering with, and I could tailor my message for them. The detailed profile information, again, made those recruitment conversations and approaches much more rich. We were able to really tailor our messaging. And thirdly, we are now seeing how we can build on that and do more. Like I said, we're already doing a pilot with SAP and Oracle. And I think just having more data and being able to know what we were doing going into it gave me the confidence that I could say to my boss, yeah, I'm going to take a full-time resource off of what they're doing and put them on something new and experiment. And again, like I said, we exceeded our expectations. So that is the basic story of what we did. And I think, Dina, you were going to have a couple of follow-up questions that I'm happy to address as well.
Yeah. Well, firstly, thank you for sharing all of that. It's incredible. And, as, the founder and CEO of PartnerOptimizer and the platform, we've innovated the data mining, and we love it when our customers are actually leveraging the entire platform because there's so much capability in it. And some people just think, oh, I'm going there to get a list, right? What do you have to say about that?
It's not a list, because where I see the power of it is when we start combining different qualities. So going into next year, we're going to move to more of an industry model. So one of the things that I appreciate what you can do is I can go into now my community and say, okay, who are partners that are strong in this industry, right? And this software, and maybe they're also using business technology platform. Or let's say there's a use case within an industry, and we can start pivoting that data in ways that you cannot do with spreadsheets. You just can't. It's not possible. And again, it's all about speed. Our competitors have tapped into what we're doing, right? They know what we're doing. Now they're coming after my partners. So I've got to move fast. I don't have time to waste on doing anything manual, and I don't have time to guess. I have to know what we're doing, and I've got to act quickly, and I can't do that without the right data. And my data's got to be adaptable in order for me to move quickly.
Exactly. And let me share with you, a lot of people are afraid of data, right? And afraid of partner insights or partner data or partner intelligence. What do you have to say about that?
Why?
Right.
I don't mean, everything else is just guessing. One of the other interesting things that we're using this data for is I want to be able to ask of my business, what's my penetration? How many of the entire community of partners that are SAP partners in North America, let's say, I'll just use that as an example. How many am I working with? Like, how am I doing? Because maybe my business is growing 50% year over year, but if the overall segment of the market's growing at 50%, I'm not growing fast enough. So you have to look at it's not just about your own business and your own year over year growth. You've got to be looking at the broader segment of the market. And without that data, and without being able to refresh the data and continuing to crawl what these partners are doing, what they're talking about, their customer success stories, their blog posts, you're capturing all of that data and putting it into this digestible format so that I can see what they're talking about quickly and make decisions. It's really invaluable. I don't know how else you would do it today.
Right. Well, let me ask you. So a lot of times, because this is something new and it's a tool that has to be adopted, it has to be sold to the management team to obtain budget, right? So what's your piece of advice for partner leaders who want to be able to adopt it to make that case for budget to their leadership team?
So luckily, I work for a company that's really big on experimentation, right? We like to say that we're the world's biggest startup. And so the way that I was able to prove out the first pilot was, I called it a pilot, I called it an experiment, right? And we put a really defined sandbox around that. We had clear, I guess, metrics, but because it was new, I can't exactly call it a metric. We had clear expectations for what we thought we would see, right? We had a clear hypothesis, and we ran that first pilot, and that was just with our original community, right? And that helped us get richer data around our original community and helped us learn things that we didn't know. And so we just built on that. But I think being very clear that, and again, something else that AWS, we talk a lot about one-way door versus two-way door decisions, right?
Mhm.
This was a two-way door decision. We were able to increase the amount of money for the second phase that we spent. Again, this time we could have much clearer metrics for what we expected. And if it didn't work, we just stopped, right? Like it's not like we were committed to, it's thankfully because you're a subscription-based software, right? And I didn't have to buy an on-premise license. I didn't have to buy hardware. I didn't have to buy networking and I didn't have to buy all that infrastructure, right? This is just a subscription. And so, I was like, worst case scenario, I end the subscription, but we were going to learn from it regardless. But I think we're finding that instead of ending the subscription, we just keep finding more and more use cases, and we keep expanding.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been great. And having you as one of the first to take it on and measure those results is fantastic. Yeah. So, Christina, one more piece of advice that you would have for partnership leaders who are listening in today on how can they be like you and advance their career in partnerships? You've been so successful and you keep on growing and moving up, and with such intention and strategy. What do you recommend to our audience?
I think one of the things that I've done that has worked for me is I've explored the various different aspects of the channel and partnerships. And I'm never afraid to try something. So through the course of my career, I've done strategic alliance management. I've done channel management. I've done partner program management. I've done probably more than anything else is recruitment and activation. If I look at all of the different things I've done, I've been doing that the longest. So I feel like I've got a good methodology for how to do that and achieving success with that. So I think I just was never afraid to just try to take new roles and try different things and keep growing. I think the other thing too, that even though I manage a large team that spans 2 geographies, I also make sure that I talk to partners, right? I really make sure I'm talking directly to partners on a regular basis. You've got to be getting that voice of the partner directly. Because as fabulous as my team is, you can put things together and make different decisions and make different conclusions, like when you actually get that firsthand knowledge. So I think that you can't, no matter how like large your role gets or whatever, like never lose sight of actually getting those insights directly from the partner.
Absolutely. That's great advice. Really is. Well, great. So I think that concludes our program for today, which is right on time, exactly what we wanted to do. And so thank you again so much. I think we want to have a slide up that, well, okay, we can show you a little bit about what PartnerOptimizer does after Christina's spoken about it. And PartnerOptimizer basically allows partnership leaders and channel leaders to take control of your channel and be strategic and be intentional. And it does that because there's 5 core things it does really well. It does data-driven partner discovery. Okay, so it helps you find new partners that match what you're looking for, whether it's based upon an ideal partner profile, or if it's your existing partners and you're looking to do campaigns or specifically categorize and segment them. Same thing if you have prospect lists, you can feed them into PartnerOptimizer and it will help you know how they compare to an ideal partner profile or a query. You can build your ideal partner profile from scratch, and you can even build it using a set of your best partners because it'll aggregate the data they have in common. And it will then tell you how many partners we have out there in the global universe that comprise your total addressable partner ecosystem. You can also track your partner's alignment with your own brand by seeing how much they are actually talking about you online. We can track that kind of metric and insights as well. And also, like Christina was saying, you can take the profiles per partner and look very specifically at what they care about, who they are as a partner, what is their DNA and fiber, and then you craft very intentional, strategic, targeted messages or conversations or offers just directly for them. And that's going to change the game in how you can activate them and partner with them and drive revenue from them. So if you'd like to reach out more to me or schedule a demo with our team or a free trial, feel free to scan that QR code right there in the middle. And to reach Christina or myself on LinkedIn, there's our QR codes as well. So you simply need to take a little picture of that and it'll take you right there. And the other thing I want to announce is this is episode 1. So now we've got a great lineup in the weeks ahead of additional amazing channel data consumers, thought leaders, and innovators. And the next one is Karen Fazio. She is the CEO and principal of Abundant MC. I can't read it here, but anyway, she is fantastic. And she comes from the world of Microsoft Azure, where she headed up digital global demand gen. And we're going to be talking very specifically about unveiling the marketplace mirage, because so many companies, so many ISVs now are joining marketplaces, and just getting on them is a lot of work, but getting them to work for you is no easy task once you get on. So we're going to be talking about that, and Karen is the perfect person to speak with about that. So I hope you join us in a couple of weeks from now on Thursday, November 30th. But in the meantime, Christina, thank you so much again for being part of the show. I am so excited that this was our first episode, and I am really looking forward to generating new ROI, new growth with you, both for PartnerOptimizer, but also for AWS, and look forward to many years of friendship to come. So
yeah, thank you so much for having me, and best of luck as the series continues.
Absolutely. Share it with your friends, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
All right.